Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to completely rewire the way you look at discipline, habits, and long-term success. Seriously, if you've ever felt just totally frustrated by your inability to stick to a new workout, or maybe learn a new language, or build a business, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack the actual science and psychology behind building unbreakable consistency. We're talking about fundamentally changing how you approach your long-term goals. Okay, let's dive into this right away. Most people don't fail because they're untalented. They fail because they stop too soon. Think about how incredibly true that is. I mean, we start going to the gym and then we just quit after 2 weeks, right? We start a massive new project and we completely vanish after a month. The defining difference between average results and incredible success, it isn't raw talent. It's really just staying in the game. But why is staying in the game so incredibly difficult for most of us? Well, to answer that, we actually have to forgive ourselves a little bit. See, your brain is neurologically wired against your long-term ambitions. It literally is not designed to care about a goal you have for 5 years from now. It's designed for survival, and that means it intensely prioritizes immediate comfort and immediate rewards over distant payoffs. Basically, it cares about getting a donut today, not a six-pack 5 years from now. Just think about instant dopamine for a second. Scrolling social media, grabbing fast food, binge watching a show. These actions require almost zero effort, and they give you an immediate chemical reward. Now compare that to delayed rewards, like working out, studying, or building a business. Consistency demands delayed rewards. You don't get fit after one single workout. And because that result is delayed, your primitive brain interprets the effort as completely pointless. This neurological mismatch traps us in what we call the invisible progress stage. This is that agonizing phase where you're putting in the hard work. An internal improvement is absolutely happening, but there is zero visible proof yet, right? Like a person learning guitar sounds terrible for weeks before they finally sound good. Someone trying to lose weight looks exactly the same in the mirror for the first month. And this right here is exactly where the vast majority of people quit. We deeply struggle to keep going when our immense effort yields no visible results. So how do we cope with all that frustration? Well, we usually fall back on a lie. Honestly, how many times have you said to yourself, "Oh, I'll start Monday," or "I'll do it when I feel ready," or "I'm just kind of not motivated today"? Go ahead and nod along because we've literally all done this. We delay our actions waiting for this magical surge of motivation to carry us through the invisible progress stage. But here is the harsh reality. Motivation is the worst possible system for success. Just think about what it actually relies on. Sleep, stress levels, your current mood, passing distractions, hormones, fleeting emotions. It's a wildly unreliable foundation. If your success depends entirely on feeling motivated, your progress is going to be incredibly unstable. Always. Highly consistent people, they aren't motivated all the time. They've simply stopped using motivation as a requirement to act. And this brings us to the core difference in how people operate. The average approach is debating every single task. Should I go to the gym? Should I study now or later? That constant mental negotiation drastically drains your cognitive energy. The consistent approach, however, relies on building automatic systems. Consistent people just stop negotiating with themselves. The task becomes a scheduled part of the routine, completely removing the emotional choice of whether or not to actually do it. The real secret to stopping that negotiation is understanding friction. If every workout requires you to wake up, hunt down your clothes, debate going, and plan a routine, well, that's high friction. You're going to fail, for sure. It just requires way too much willpower. But imagine low friction. Your clothes are laid out the night before, your gym time is already locked into your schedule. The true hero of this explainer, the hero of unbreakable consistency, isn't discipline, it's systems. You are reducing friction so heavily that it practically guarantees you take action. So how does this translate into practical steps? We call it environment design. Remove distracting apps, keep healthy food visible, set a strict bedtime. Basically, if you want to read more, keep a book right on your pillow. If you want to eat better, literally stop bringing junk food into your house. The smartest, most effective form of discipline in the entire world is simply reducing your need for discipline. You do that by designing an environment that naturally supports you. But even with the perfect environment, we often hit a wall. Why? Because we're aiming at the completely wrong target. We spend all this time trying to change our outcomes, but we totally ignore the underlying mechanism that actually drives our behavior. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the critical shift from setting goals to changing identity. Most people say, oh, I'm trying to read more or I'm trying to lose weight. Those are goals, but long-term behavior doesn't run on goals. It runs on identity. Instead, try saying, I am a reader or I am someone who trains consistently. Psychologically, human beings naturally behave in accordance with their identity. If you truly see yourself as a healthy person, eating junk food all day actually feels incredibly uncomfortable. There's an immensely powerful truth here. Your actions slowly begin matching the person you believe you are. But listen, this is also a massive warning. A lot of us are unknowingly reinforcing negative identities every single day. We tell ourselves things like, I'm just lazy, or I never finish things. And guess what? Your brain accepts those labels as absolute truth and acts accordingly. You have to start shifting those labels so that positive actions stop feeling like forced discipline and start feeling like your normal, everyday behavior. So once you decide on that new identity, how do you execute it? Well, you have to start smaller than your ego wants. This is where so many ambitious people fail. Your ego wants to do a 2-hour workout on day 1 or launch some massive new diet. And after a week, you completely burn out. Your brain values sustainability far more than it values a short burst of extreme intensity. Let me tell you, a small habit that survives is infinitely better than a massive habit that impresses people for exactly 1 week. Think about these concrete examples: 5 minutes of reading, 10 daily push-ups, writing 1 single paragraph. Now, to your ego, this might look completely unimpressive, but remember, the absolute hardest part of any task is simply starting. By making the starting process incredibly easy, you absolutely destroy the mental resistance. You build momentum. Once you're actually down on the floor doing your 10 push-ups, it's very easy to just keep going. And as you build that momentum, you absolutely must destroy the perfectionism myth. Perfection is an all-or-nothing trap. You know the drill. You miss one morning routine, you think the whole week is ruined, and you just quit. Repetition, on the other hand, is just about keeping the habit alive. Consistency isn't about being flawless. A short workout still counts. 10 minutes of studying still counts. This leads us to one of the most vital concepts in this entire explainer: scaling down. This means choosing to do a drastically reduced version of your habit instead of skipping it entirely. Say you planned a 1-hour workout, but you are completely exhausted. Don't skip the gym, just go for 15 minutes. Protect the routine above all else. You can always dial up the intensity later, but restarting a completely dead habit takes massive, massive energy. Now we have to address the elephant in the room when it comes to maintaining habits: the dopamine problem. Modern life has made consistency so much harder, and it's not because we're weaker, it's because our attention is under constant attack from endless scrolling and notifications. Our brains are trained for instant rewards, and because of this overstimulation, normal, healthy work, like reading or deep studying, starts to feel painfully boring. But here's a powerful reframe: boredom is actually a tool. When you let yourself be bored, you reset your attention, and suddenly doing your normal work feels a whole lot easier. Managing that dopamine and protecting your routine is how you survive the guaranteed bad days. Look, most people plan for perfect conditions. Their massive new monthly plan works beautifully, right up until they get a bad night's sleep or have a super stressful day at work, and the whole thing just collapses. Real consistency requires building strong systems that are designed to survive your lowest energy days. If your routine only works when you feel 100% amazing, well, it's not a strong system. To help your system survive those bad days, you really need this trick: use visual tracking. Remember that invisible progress stage we talked about earlier? Visual tracking is the antidote. Use a wall calendar, a checklist, a streak tracker on your phone, whatever works. Just give your brain undeniable, visible proof that you are making progress, even when your body or your project doesn't show it yet. Seeing 30 check marks in a row actively strengthens that new identity. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate goal of all these systems and tracking: just 1% improvement. Meaningful progress in life is almost always slow. We live in a culture that pushes really fast success, but consistency works exactly like compound interest in investing. If you improve just 1% daily, the compounding effect over time is absolutely staggering. So what does this compounding actually look like in real life? Well, on day 1, your tiny habit looks completely unimpressive. By month 6, it just looks like quiet, boring, ordinary routines. But by year 3, you achieve an unrecognizable transformation. The people who look incredibly gifted or naturally talented from the outside, they are usually just the people who embraced the boring, quiet repetition behind the scenes for years. So the crucial point is that building unbreakable consistency is not about becoming some superhero with infinite willpower. It's really about a simple, proven formula. Number 1, build low-friction systems. Number 2, shift your identity to match your goals. Number 3, embrace imperfect repetition. Remember, scale down, do not quit. And number 4, never fully stop. When you follow this formula, the reward isn't just that you achieve your goal. The ultimate reward is confidence and self-respect, because you finally see yourself as someone who keeps the promises they make to themselves. I want to leave you with one final, lingering thought to project you into your own future. Ask yourself honestly, what would your life look like 1 year from now if you finally became consistent? Seriously, the time is going to pass anyway. Stop waiting for the perfect Monday, reduce your friction, start incredibly small today, and let the compounding begin. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what you build.